Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to another episode of GP Roundtable with my friends Manuel Pesino from Spain. Hi, Manuel.
Ciao, buenos días a tutti.
Giovanni Zamani from Italy. Ciao, Zam.
Ciao da Milano.
Michel Turco from France. Hi, Michel.
Hello, salut from Paris.
Ciao, ciao, ciao. Matt Oxley from England. Hi, Matt.
Hello, everyone from London.
And we all welcome Mr. Piero Tramasso of Michelin. Good morning, Piero. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Morning, ciao, ciao a tutti.
Piero, I guess you're in France now?
Yes, I'm in France, in Clermont-Ferrand. Yes, still working from the house because the things are going better and better, but slowly. So the lockdown started to be more light now, but the office is still closed, and the factory they started.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Sorry, Piero, it was just a line going off.
Yeah, they just said, yeah, we are going slowly, and the factory, they are open, very, very, light, with the light people.
Okay, personally, how did you face this quarantine period, this very long quarantine period?
Yes, it was quite long, but we had some work to do. We had some job to do. At the beginning, we try to understand, when the restart was possible and how. So we plan. We were to imagine different options with the European race, overseas race, one race, double race. So we try to work in different options just to make sure that we are ready when we restart again the season. And then we didn't stop to work. What we take advantage for all this time off to analyze more deeply all the data we get the previous season.
Okay, shall we start with the questions? Zam, I start from you.
Okay. Ciao, Piero. Piero, I wanted to ask to you, when you introduce a new tire, as happened this year, for example, you have a mini pressure from the factory or from the rider or to introduce it or not introduce it?
We have some pressure. For sure, riders or factory, they like the tire where they can see an advantage on the new tire. They push to have it as soon as possible. But as you know, there is a rule: we cannot introduce a tire during the season. So we only can make the change at the beginning before the first race, and then we have to keep the same specification for all the season. Then yes, for sure there is a discussion, but as you know, when we test a new tire, we do several tests in different places, and then we try to pick up the solution that at the end it give something more to everybody. So at the end, everybody is happy. This is our philosophy. We don't want to select just one tire, even if it's let's say 1 second quicker, just if it's working only for 2 or 3 riders or 2 or 3 bikes. We pick up all the time the tire, we work for all the grid.
Matt, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to continue on that same line, Piero. With the new rear for this year, can you say how that has changed the setup globally across the 6 bikes? How, because every time there's a new tire, they have to change the balance of the bike or the suspension. Can you say globally what the change to setup has been?
Yes, globally the new rear tire construction was designed to give a better grip. When we designed that, we were looking to give better grip at the exit when you accelerate. Have to make a bigger contact patch, so have a good advantage in traction area. And then when we started to test, we realized also that the tire was more stable in the corner, Also, the grip in the corner was better. Also, as you know, the rear, it helps you to stop the bike. When you brake with the rear brakes, it stops. So it was an advantage also in the braking point. Anyway, in general, this tire was giving more rear grip. When you have more rear grip, it pushes you the front. So this is physical, it's normal. So you push you the front. At that point, you have to change it. You have to change the setting. You have to change the weight distribution. You have to change the suspension. So then it depends the philosophy of the bike. In some bike you have to go in some way. In other bike you have to go a different way. But in general, was giving more grip, was pushing the front. So you have to change the balance of the bike. But this is not the only thing. Also, you have to change the riding style. So you cannot accelerate as before. You cannot brake as before. So I understand that there is many change because the riders have to change the riding style. The engineer, the chiefs, mechanics have to change the setting. You have to find the right balance, the right way to use. In general, we realize that with this new tire, you cannot be aggressive as before. So we tested this tire, with all the bike in Sepang and in Qatar, and then we see that some bikes, very quickly they were used too. Some riders also, other they need more time, but at the end will be an advantage for everybody.
Okay, Manuel.
Piero, I have a question more technically. I know that you in Michelin, you prepare or you create the tires a lot of months before each race. How are you working now, without knowing what is really going to happen? Which is the margin you need to build a tire? I mean, we are supposed to start in July in Jerez, but it's not sure. And I can imagine you don't produce these tires until it's sure, because if not, it's a waste of money. How is this process? How will it happen?
Yes, it's not easy to prepare the tire without knowing which track, which time you go. Because even if you know the track, one thing is go in July, another thing is go in October or November, because the temperature is different. In a normal situation, it's easy because we declare at the beginning of the season, we declare all the tire specification for all the track for all the season, and then we cannot change. And then we started to produce, and we produce normally 2 months before. 2 months before the race, we started the production. And then we have time to ship it by boat if we have time, or by plane. Now for this situation now is a little bit more difficult. Yeah, we know that Jerez probably will be the best, the first race, and then maybe Austria, Czech Republic. Now what we do, we build a minimum of tire. We build a minimum of quantity to be sure to have enough tire to do 2-3 races, and then as soon as we know the calendar, we start to build for the rest of the season. There is 3 big family of tire, basically. We have one family is for Austria, Thailandia, because it's a special rear casing for the temperature. This is one family apart. Then we have a second family is asymmetric tire, with the big asymmetry from left to right, front and rear. For example, this is for track like Sachsenring, Valencia, and Phillip Island. So this is all the rest of the track. They are quite similar. They are quite similar when we change just the rigidity of the compound. So for this big family, the last one, we big enough quantity to be sure that if we go, for example, Czech Republic, Mugello, Misano, Jerez, Barcelona, they're quite similar. So for now, we have some tire in stock to be sure make 2-3 races, and then we will do, considering the calendar. And to answer your question, we need to be, safe. We need 5 weeks notice. So 5 weeks before, yes, 5, we can build the tire. We are ready.
Franco.
Yes, Manuel.
Sorry, allow me to do a second question, if you don't mind. Piero, regarding the temperature in Jerez, okay, you just said that you have data from May, you have data from October from the test, but you haven't been there in July with the heat. Again, how do you manage this?
Yeah, for sure we need to change. The Jerez test race was planned to be in May, in July. So for May, the rigidity of the compound was soft and medium, something like that. So now, because we go in July, will be more hot. For sure, we will switch from soft medium. We will switch to medium hard. So we have to bring a harder compound to be sure that the temperature will be not an issue.
Okay, perfect. Michel.
Yeah. Oh, coming back to the new rear construction introduced this season, like you said, we saw during the winter test that some riders and teams were ready with this new tire. Some other less. We saw, for example, that the Yamaha were very happy to get more grip age. It helps a lot the M1. We didn't test since now. The last test was in the beginning of March in Qatar. So, and the season will be completely different. So, do you think that the team and the riders and technicians were able to work on simulation during these weeks? And how do you see their adaptation in this new calendar with maybe two races back to back on the same track, different condition in a track that they don't know? So how do you see what could be this championship in terms of level of performance with this new construction? And sorry, another question, just to go on this matter. You were supposed to introduce a new front tire next year. It seems that this introduction will be postponed for 1 year.
Yes, I expect to see a very nice season, a very nice race. I'm sure that during this time the teams they worked a lot. They accumulate some data in Sepang in Qatar. For sure, they had time to go back and see how the bike was behaving, how the tire was behaving, and also exchange with the riders. And I'm sure that now they understand much more than before. So they will be able to make some change, some adjustment to the bike to be optimized for this kind of tire. The lap time, we saw the lap time was very fast. So I'm sure we will see fast race. And we will see some also a lot of show, because like you said, Yamaha and Suzuki, they were adapting very well. The Ducati, the factory, they were a little bit slower, but Jack Miller was always in the top. We saw also the KTM, the Aprilia was doing very well with this new rear casing because they needed grip. So I am expecting to see more packed, more close bikes and the riders. For me, will be not. They will adapt very quickly. I'm sure that after on the 15th July, they're supposed to do some tests just to retake some feeling with the bikes. I'm sure they will be back soon, all the riders. And about the front, yes, you're right. We were planning to test this new front that already tested last year in 2019. The plan was to extend this test 2020 to introduce it in 2021. This new front was the goal was to give better braking stability when riders they go into the corner. The first test they were very positive, but as you imagine, will be not possible to do the test 2020. So for the moment, the plan is test in 2021 and maybe introduce it in 2022 if the results are still positive and if the riders and teams they want it.
Okay, Zam, back to you.
Piero, last week we make an interview with Alvaro Bautista, and he compared the Bridgestone tire, Michelin tire, and Pirelli tire that is using in a Superbike now. And he said that the strong point of Bridgestone was the front tire, and the strong point of Michelin is the rear tire, and the Pirelli is more equilibrated. What do you think about this opinion? You agree, or you think that now Michelin has a front tire more competitive than before?
I think that now we made a very big step. When we start in 2016, for sure we arrived with a new product. The bike, they were not setting for the Michelin, the setting still for the other tire manufacturer. But for sure, a lot of riders at the beginning, they said, with the previous tire, we feel better. And that's why we worked a lot on the front. We work a lot. We change many casing, we change many compound just to improve it. I'm sure that now the level we have is similar to the one before. With the new one we tested last year, some riders, they said, now with this one, with this front, it's maybe better compared to the previous one. So we make a very big improvement. And also, if you look at the statistic, for the crash statistic, for example, now we are very good. There is very low crashes from losing the front. This is the proof that now the feeling, the feedback from the front tire is much better. And we still with the very strong, yes, the rear. I know, since I'm in the motorsport, I know that the rear is a very strong point of Michelin. And that's why we didn't work a lot. This is the first big change we made on the rear, is just the one we introduced in 2020. While for the front, we had two or three new front during 2016, we new one in 17, new one in 18. And after they asked us, they said, okay, please, now the front is good, don't change anymore. So for me, this is a good information. If they ask you, you can stop to develop the front tire, is because they are quite happy.
Okay.
And then
sorry.
Yes, sorry. And then I saw Alvaro interview. I believe him. This is his feeling. But like he said he's, his riding style is different. He's very light. For him, it was very difficult to put energy on the tire. He also is hard to compare, a MotoGP with a Superbike or with a MotoGP from 5 or 6 years ago. The horsepower is different, the weight is different. So it's not easy to make a comparison like that.
Okay, Matt, please.
I just wanted to talk about the rear tire more in general, not just this year's tire, but also in general last year and so on, about how the different way that the V4 bikes use the rear tire against the inline 4 bikes. Because I know obviously the inline 4s have engines that fire like a V4, like Big Bang. But I know that they both use different parts of the tire, don't they, in different parts of the corner. So can you just tell us a little bit about that?
I think this is the way how they use the tire is more related to the riding style. If the rider, he lean a lot or not, if the rider he pick up early and then in which part accelerate, he put down all the power. Honestly, I don't see when, after the race, we take back the tire, we look at the tire, we make some wear measurement. Honestly, we don't see, I cannot tell you, this tire is V4, this one is a 4-line from a tire. It's just the way the rider is riding. Very important is how the traction control is a setting. If you have a good electronic, good traction control setting, you can demand a lot of the tire and you wear the tire nicely. But I cannot see difference in between different engine structure about it.
Can you tell us, are you allowed to tell us which riders are best at looking after their tires? Maybe 2 or 3 guys. Who do you think generally is the sweetest with the rear tire?
Yeah, we know, for example, Jorge Lorenzo was very good. The rear tire was very nice, gently. Zarco, he can use very soft compound. Now Fabio Quartararo also. Yeah, these guys, they are very, very smooth, very clean, so they can use softer compound without damage them quickly. So yeah, I think those riders are the one very, very, very smooth. Then about the aggressive one, we know Mark, we know Cal. Jack, they are quite aggressive.
Thank you.
Manuel, please.
Yes, just I wanted to, regarding what Alvaro said, I can't imagine Alvaro saying now racing in World Superbike that the Michelins were better than Pirelli, no? This is quite clear. What should he say? What should he say? Okay, Piero, I'm going back to my story about the strategy and how you are going to manage all these tires. How many tires do you normally take to a Grand Prix? The number in general?
In general, so every Grand Prix
Yes.
in Europe overseas is 1,200. So
Okay.
1,200 tires between slick and rain.
So in Jerez, where you are going to have one full test and 2 Grand Prix, will you take all these tires at once, or are you waiting to see what goes on and then bring tires from Clermont-Ferrand down to Jerez? Which will be the strategy?
Yeah, the plan at this moment is just to build the tire for the test in the first race, and then wait after when we finish the race, and then we just to we bring back the one we used, because for the 2 races we will use exactly the same allocation. So for example, if we use we have rear A, B, and C. If during the race we use all the B, we will bring just the B specification. So we will make a complement adjustment, but no, we don't bring all the tire in one.
And if there is any unexpected situation, are you ready to a quick reaction?
Yes. If in Europe we can move quite quickly. Also, in the factory we can react. For example, if there is some unexpected situation, like you said, if we need, for example, build some tire or something, we are able to do it.
Okay, Michel.
Piero, like you explained, we know that Michelin has always been very reactive in terms of fabrication of tires. You are able to build tires in the night and send them to the track. But it's obvious that you have also to, when you have 20 races in a calendar, you have to plan some races months away. So I can imagine that for the Thailand, Austin, Argentina, the tires were already built this year. So what will happen to these tires? Will you stock them for the future? Because I remember in the past with Bridgestone, there were some complaints from riders that sometimes they got the tires that they were built maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and they had problem with them. So how do you manage your stock, let's say?
Yeah, you're right. For the first race for Argentina, Austin, Thailand, all the tires they were built. Most of them also we send to that place. So now they are back. They are in our factory in the stock. All the tires in the factory, even during the transportation, they have temperature control all the time. They are at 20 degrees. So with these things, we make sure that the compound property, it doesn't change. And then we made a lot of tests. We know that we can keep the tire for 14 months. So a little bit more than 1 year. We know that the chemical components, they don't change if you keep the tire at the right temperature. So some of this tire, we will see the date, but some we can reuse it. But when they pass 14 months, we destroy the tire.
Okay.
This is
Piero, I don't know if they have another question. Zam, I saw your finger, please.
Yes, Piero, I wanted to ask you something about, again, the front tire, because when you come back in MotoGP, you have chosen 17 each for the front tires, because I think for the street tires are very similar to the street tires. I wanted to ask you if it was a limit or not for you. for
No,
the race.
no, the tire size was not the limit. We choose 17, like you said, because it's the commercial size. It's much more easy than after to transfer the technology from the MotoGP to the commercial tire, the street bike. But the tire size was not that the limit, because we were able to have the same contact patch than 16 or 16 and a half. And also we did a lot of tests before switch from 16 and a half to 17. We did a lot of tests to be sure that the performance was not less. I think just the limit was just that it was the bike, they were different compared to what we knew before. We stopped MotoGP in 2008. So when we restart in 2015-16, the bike, they were different. The weight distribution was different. The way to ride was very different. When Mark arrived, he started to brake very late, very strong in the front. So all the weight, the big forces on the front. Then we started to test with the test rider. Test rider, the solicitation is not same as the official, the race rider. They run 1 second slower, they brake less. So basically we start that way. That was no easy. The bikes, the setting was for the previous manufacturer. So we had a lot of point to work, to improve, and not only the tire. And as soon we started to test with the official rider, as soon we understand how they wear the bike and everything, I think we redesigned the tire, and now the base front tire is good.
Piero, I just have a question. Then I let also Manuel, Michel, and Matt. Who is the most complaining rider, even if there is one? And how do you deal with complaining riders? Are you tolerant or not?
Yeah, there is always some riders they complain. Usually they are the riders, they are in the back.
In the back.
So, yeah. In the front, the one they are in the front, in the top 5, usually they are happy, they don't complain. And then it depends on the season, it depends on the track, but I will say sometimes it's Jack, sometimes it's Cal, sometimes it's Dovi, sometimes, but it's more related to the position where they are. But we are tolerant. We know that it is not easy. They have to manage the tire, the engine, the many things. So no, we are tolerant. We discuss after that, when they complain, we take all the complaint, we note everything. Then we look back, we go back, we look at all the data with the rider and the engineer, and we try to understand. And most of the time, we riders, you understand, okay, I understand that the problem was not the tire. Many times what happens is that they compare the tire. For example, they say, this afternoon the tire, I felt less grip than yesterday morning. Yeah, but the day before the track was 10 degrees less. The pace was 4 tenths slower. So you have just to show them that the condition, they were different. So the tire response is different, but it's not because the tire is faulty or is not performant. Okay. At the end, everybody understand, then it's okay.
Okay. Manuel, you have another question, please?
Yes, in this I have to say that Piero, many times he looks like Mr. Iceman, because to handle the complaints of 6 different manufacturers is kind of a psychological effort, But Piero, the other day we were talking with a technician, which name I don't remember who it was, and he basically said that the lap times came are basically in the second half of a corner. That where the lap times come is on acceleration phase. Do you agree with this? Is this the place where a rider can make a difference, or a tire can make the difference?
I agree with the new rear tire. I agree because at the beginning, this is what we want to improve. So give more traction, better corner exit, better support in that area. So yeah, I'm agree for that. You know, in that area, everybody can extract the grip. Everybody needed to accelerate, and then who is able to accelerate early, he will get more advantage.
Any more questions? Matt, Michel?
Yes, just the last one, Piero, about the situation in Michelin during this month with the COVID. I've been told that you have been requested by the authorities to build the materials for the hospital. Is it true? And could you tell us what was it?
Is true, but there is no. From what I know, is not the authority. They ask us as soon the Michelin group saw this the COVID, this virus, this problem, and they had to stop the building line. They say, "Wow! So now we have to stop it. What we do with these people? You know, we need to find some work for these people. And also, when we will restart, we will need the mask or the medical material." So straight away they react. They instead to build the tire, they make some line to build the mask. So they build the mask, the one just for 1 day. You know, the one usable mask. I think it's about 10,000 per day. And then also they with the 3D printer. Also they make some mask that you can keep for a long time. They also medical material. They started to build. They give free tire for the medical car, for fire, for the fire man. So they did a lot of things for the society. And the MotoGP team, for example, all the guys they work in my team, they went to build because there is no race, no test. So they went to build this mask. And also I went a couple of weeks to help them. It was very nice thing.
So you are going to be the official mask manufacturers for the MotoGP 2020?
Yeah, if they need, maybe if we don't need, we can provide some, yes, with the bibendum on the.
Special marketing.
You know, will you miss those guys, these guys at the Grand Prix this year?
Yeah.
Will you miss
yes.
them?
Yeah, yes. I miss all these guys, Michel, Giovanni, Emanuele, also all the riders, the teams. You know, we spend a lot of time together, more than 150 days. So we have a relationship. Is friendly, like it's friendly relationship. They are friends. They are not colleagues. So yeah. I miss them, and I hope to see them very quickly.
Even if their pens sometimes can be harsh, can be very cruel, no, you will miss them anyway.
They are correct. Okay. No, they are yes. No, they do a great job. They are very professional. They understand the tire. They understand it's not easy to make one tire that he works on the Suzuki, on the Ducati, in the Honda for aggressive rider, for a smooth rider. So they understand that. I think this is the most important thing. And then when they make the article, usually is okay.
And then Piero is Italian, so he knows what it is about complaints. What means complaining? Huh?
Yeah. Wait.
Come on, Giovanni.
Okay. Mr. Thomas, thank you so much for being with us. We hope to have you maybe after the beginning of the season. It would be very, very nice for us to have you again. Best of luck, best of everything for this 2020 season. Thank you.
Piero,
Piero,
just wanted to congratulate Michelin for the work you have done during this pandemia. When you started to talk about it, I got goosebumps. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Great.
I
Thank
see
you.
you next
Ciao, Piero. Ciao, ciao,
Ciao,
tutti.
ciao.
appointment. Thank you for
Ciao,
GP
Piero.
Bye bye,
Thank
Mr.
you. Bye.
Ciao, adios, adios.
Manuel.
Ciao.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.